Hey guys, it's Jen. I hope you guys are doing well, and I am so excited today because I'm finally going to be showing you a full flip through of the new style of journaling that I'm going to be doing. So if you haven't been following along on Instagram, or if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I received a kind of like a postcard flyer of junk mail, and I looked at it and I looked at the size and I thought it would be such a cute journal just to fold in half. And so I put it on the table, kept looking at it, and then I had a magazine that I really loved, like there was dessert pictures in it with lots of color, this cake and the sprinkles, and I said, oh, you know, that would be cute to go on a cover. And so I abandoned my nice journal I made for this month that was laminated, and I just started to collage the front of this. I put a piece of scrapbook paper on it here, and then just put different artists' collage sheet pieces on here as well as my own. And I just said, you know what, this is small and I'm gonna carry it everywhere. I'm gonna put it on my dining table, I'm gonna put it on my desk in my room, maybe I'll throw it in my purse. And I'm not going to be strict about this or sit down to create a work of art kind of spread, because that takes a lot of time. And you have to be in the right mindset, and you got to have the creative juices flowing to make a creative art spread that, you know, you feel good enough to show on social media and stuff. And creating a piece of art is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of energy, and it can't be done all the time. So this is my way of kind of separating the art from the journaling, from the memory keeping, the art from the memory keeping, you know. But in that, it did become art because I didn't filter anything, and I just did things intuitively and subconsciously. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and show you this first one. I've made 3 so far, and they've taken about like a week or a week and a half to fill up. And this last one, it's been taking a while because it's a little bigger, and I've been busy like the end of this month because, you know, Patreon deadlines and stuff. So yeah, this one's about done, and also because I just felt psychologically like it was done, like there's nothing more to add, and there's a lot less writing in memory keeping in this one. There's more like ideas and clippings and things like that. So I'll be showing you that in a couple weeks. So yeah, I like it, and I got another one of these sizes of junk mail in the mail, and I'm planning on making another one this size. But what I had mentioned before is my second one, I didn't have any kind of like junk mail. So I tried to replicate this size journal, and you can do that, but it took a little bit of extra time to cut down the paper to make it, you know, and I had to measure it out and stuff. And that actually created a roadblock to get to my goal, my end point. So I think you should try to like take out all the obstacles out of your goal, so that it's much easier and simpler to do. So the following journal, this was a piece of junk mail or like advertisement card from a pet store. And I think, was it a trifold? I'm not sure. I think it was a trifold, and I let that lead me and be my, you know, guide in what size to make. So it's kind of predetermined, and you want more chance, you know, in this involved, and it'll lead you to more like creative stuff. So anyway, with that said, I'm gonna do a flip through, and I also wanted to give a shout out to a new friend. Her username is Terribly Creative. And she sent me some happy mail recently, a lot of cute stationery and stuff, but she makes like homemade watercolors, and I'm so excited to try these out. So I thought that would be fun to test out these like little watercolor samples for you guys. And yeah, so you can see like what they look like. And she makes collage sheets as well, and I'm part of her Patreon. And she makes like a lot of cute art. So I'm gonna do that after this. So once it filled up, it was kind of getting like where it would stand up just a little bit. So I added a brad to it and just used some baker's twine. And because I had all these tabs in it, I didn't want the, you know, closure to go like this. So I was like, oh, you know what, it would be funky if it went this way. So that's the closure. Okay. So this is Pocket Journal Pam stuff and my stuff on the cover here. And let me make sure I'm centered here. So yeah, so this is the card that came in, and it was like for life insurance, and I automatically like wrote "we all die" because it just came to my mind, and that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm doing like a flow, a free flow, like trying not to filter anything in this book. So the art here by myself, Pocket Journal Pam, and Susie Tiny Desk, I put that in at the end. That was like the finishing like layer. So everything in this journal was done in phases. So it's kind of hard to explain everything in a logical order. But so, you know, the process is going to be out of order, but I'll try to explain everything like page by page. So this was another piece from the magazine that I had, and I just ripped it out because I really liked the color palette. And the hotel looks really pretty. It looks like it's in Florida somewhere. I was listening to some music, and a song came on called Pure Carbon, and I just thought that was cool, and I wrote it down. You never know what these ideas are going to lead to in the future. So this is a way for me to capture ideas as well to make future collage sheets. And this is just some collage paper I made a while ago, and I actually used all of the day numbers from other artists to designate the page number of the book. I didn't do that in my last one, but I just thought that was a neat way to get tabs. But the thing is, if you go over 31, it's going to be harder to find a number to correspond with that, because we use them as dates for daily journaling. This is just leftover scraps from my Patreon sheets from April. And yeah, you turn the page and it looks like I started to journal that day. I started to talk about things. And what I did first in this journal is I actually created backgrounds for each spread using markers. I used like mild liners and Tombows. So this is one of the last steps I did, was getting art. This is my bird, and this is Susie's Tiny Desk. And this was like a last layer, like I said, the sprinkles, and it covers, it just is a layer. One thing that people do in daily journaling with creative journals is they glue on these images and then they write around them. And so I thought, oh, I could just make tabs, and that's, you know, that comes from like children's books that have like tabs that you lift up and you can see something else, another image or words. So I said, oh, I can do that. And I use masking tape for all my tape. I didn't do any washi tape because it's just an extra step. It prevents me from getting the information down and reaching my goal of what I want in that moment. And it's just, you know, again, I'm taking this away from the sitting down and crafting. That's what I'm getting away from. I mean, I love washi tape, everybody does. But for me, that's a design choice, and I was trying to take away design choices and try to make things more chance and random and stuff. So yeah, so this day I felt like journaling because I wanted to remember the particular things that happened, and I didn't use this as a daily journal at all. Let's see. My daughter told me that cuckoo birds take an egg out of other birds' nests and replace it with their own so it gets raised. And I asked why. I don't even know if that's true, but she said she learned it somewhere. I just thought that was such an interesting story. Also wrote about my daughter ziplining across the yard, and our cat was kind of hunting her and would like race back and forth. Yeah, and she showed me a hut that she made in glass blocks on Minecraft. Oh, this is what I wrote. I said she showed me a hut she made in Minecraft, but she placed glass blocks far away from it so she would know where to stand to show me the widest angle, a perfect view. And I wrote, that is so freaking clever. Like, she's an engineer for sure. I thought that was cool. And March 30th, I started to get hand pain from carpal tunnel. And my son found a computer chip sticker here. And he, let's see, and he researched what it was and how it worked all by himself. And so, yeah, I just put it in there because you never know. It could inspire me to make a shape of a monster in the future, or a random number, or something like that. And I just drew this because I wanted to try to get more illustration in. And this is something I made for collage sheets a while ago. And this is the final piece here. So if you join Patreon, you can get access to that cute bird. And on this page, I just taped in some kind of packaging. It says locked tight, and I put lift and then wrote my feelings. So that prompted me to, you know, say, oh, my feelings are locked tight. And this is glue, like super glue. And I talked about all my worries here. I'm worried about my hands, they're numb. Yeah, just wrote things that I'm nervous about. I wrote, kids are stealing Pokemon cards at school. My 9-year-old is bringing a lock for her cubby. It's not a real locker, it's like a cubby. And then I wrote like a list of things that I needed to do. This is a brain dump really of all kinds of stuff. And I just added ideas, little drawings. There was some washi tape here because I think I didn't like how the page looked or something. I don't know. That was after the fact, I think. On this page, oh, and that's the other thing with this journal. What I'm doing with this journal is when I find like inspirational images, color palettes, books, paper crafting things, illustrators, I want to tape them into my journal as references and inspiration. And so this is my favorite artist of all time, and her name is Maria Ramos. My Spanish is awful. She lives in Spain, and I wrote, I want to be her. And she has just the cutest kid like way of illustrating, and I'm just so freaking jealous of it. Like, this is a bat, and she's got like the knee dimples of like a little fat little kid, like chubby little tiny baby, you know, like the little dimples on the knees. I just love those details, and they're just so cute to me. So so again, I made these into tabs, and you can find even more images behind it. And then I wrote about her. Okay, and what did I write? I'm obsessed at how playful and surreal her art is, because I also love surreal art. She's my all-time favorite, and I deeply wish she had more videos showing her process for creating such cute characters. And just, I have put a lot of her art in this book, in this spread. See how the tabs can work? I mean, you can just make multiple, and you still have space to write. Then there's another spread dedicated to her, similar pictures, just more. And I also put scraps in the back, and I tested out like, you know, crayon, like scribbling on crayon with these, but I didn't like how it ended up, because there's so much texture in the previous pages, like staples and like these papers. So if you stick with like these mild liners, they have generic ones at Walmart, and they have tons of colors, and also used Tombows. These are transparent, so you can add these after you write, which I love that idea. Like I put it down beforehand just to be inspiring and to give the journal a jumping off point of decoration, and you know, that motivates us. And then afterwards, you know, if you don't think a page is, you know, filled up enough with color, you can come in and just add it like after the fact, you know. And yeah, you just have to test if these things bleed through to the other side. This one didn't, because I'm using Hammermill Cover Copy color cover copy paper. It should be listed in the description, my favorite one that I use, but I don't use watercolor on it because it doesn't work. So anyway, I got the tabs. I didn't feel the need to write anything else under this, but the space is there, and it's interactive too. And this is another spread. This is one of my pieces, and on the 29th I felt like I wanted to write, and I think I was writing about dreams. And like the last step I told you guys is like the finishing touches of the journal is when you add more marks and you add more art to it, you know, from other Patreon accounts. This was Susie's Tiny Desk, and it had to do with dreaming, so I put that in there. So this whole spread has to do with dreams, and I am currently trying to keep track of those because it helps me like realize what is on my mind that I'm not giving enough attention to during the day, like consciously. And it also helps with ideas, like future ideas for art and stuff like that. This was a very weird one. Let's see. There was this weird dream where, okay, yeah, I dreamed that we got a bag of bees from Tractor Supply Co. The bag had a huge nest inside of it, and within that was a sealed bag. So it was kind of like hay and pine, like ball that was in a bag, but within that pine and nesty bag, like nest ball thing, was another bag that was sealed. When we decided to unseal the inner part, that's when you sit there and you wait for the bees to emerge. We slowly saw the bag and the nest kind of moving, you know, and then bees started to trickle out, and then then you could see a huge swarm, and they all swarmed onto an oak tree. And in my dream, that's the way that they were feeding themselves. They didn't need a hive. They were just going from, you know, tree to tree. And then like I thought that led me to think of like weird idioms, you know, that could be an interesting way to play with art, is doing the idioms, how they say the cat's in the bag. You could either draw the cats in the bag, or you can make it different. In this case, the bees in the bag, you know, like, I don't know. Even if that idea doesn't make sense and it doesn't get developed further, it's okay. It's at least here. Maybe when I come back and look at it, I'll think, oh, I'm going to do something with bees, and this was a really funny dream, and it was a funny story. Maybe something can trigger another thought or another idea. But I think the idioms would be hilarious, you know, if somebody actually made art, like using, like, oh, the cat's in the bag. I don't know any others off the top of my head, but anyway, it can get at that surreal art that I like, I guess. So anyway, so this one, yeah, it's just random stuff. Another, let's see, another journal entry. Oh, this was some news that eBay executives put employees up to stalking and terrorizing a middle-aged couple who ran a website covering eBay news. They sent live roaches, a pig mask, grieving the death of a spouse book, and stalking. The employees were punished and went to jail. However, the CEOs resigned and received $1 million severances. Isn't that the way? Isn't that awesome? Then there was an article that we found, my son and I found at the library. How ironic. And the cover, on the cover, it said that our county was voting to ban 97 books at the school library. So yeah, that's stupid. Anyway, and then I said, drink water, because I never do. And I wrote, when I'm stressed, I drink a ton of iced coffee. It's self-soothing. And I put Pocket Journal Pam's drink more sticker there. This is a inspiration spread, like showing Dick Bruna images, you know, Miffy, because Maria Ramos is like inspired by him, and I have a couple of his books too, and I myself cannot draw this minimally, you know, because I really have to have more details. That you know, I just can't leave this like this. I just can't. So I don't have a lot of stuff like his, but I do like his textured outline that he used. So that's something that I've looked for, like after this, is I've looked for different brushes that I like that can make this kind of scratchy, messy outline. And I just like the use of the bright, bold, contrasting colors that is very popular in children's books. Might not be as popular with adults, you know, but I love it, and I know other adults who love it too. And just have some cute and sweet images, and I just love how simple he draws, like a pile of bread and fork and spoon. It's just really cute. And yeah, oh, also Maria Ramos. I'm going to stop trying to pretend that I can pronounce Spanish. She uses these really cute, messy hair strips, and I noticed that Dick Bruna does that as well. So you can see where the inspiration comes from in different artists. So I thought that was cool. And this is a, let's see, I wrote music that I like, some songs that I like, and oh, I put like a lyric to a Talking Heads song, Will You Love Me Till My Heart Stops, Love Me Till I'm Dead. And for some reason I had these clippings of I scanned in construction paper to be able to do some art with that, and wrote about it there. And then one of my last steps, I taped a Pocket Journal Pam image here because it matched my little comic book that I made for April. And right here I drew a picture of a ball and tried to show my daughter about shading to make the ball look like three-dimensional. So I dated it and talked about what it was. And yeah. And then on this page I clipped a tester copy of this. Oh no, this is a true, yeah, this works. Yeah. So anyway, I made these little comic book things, and they were in my April's printables. And I love making these, and I figured out a way as I was going to sleep how to fold a strip of paper so that it would make a book. Okay, so if you have a strip like this and you turn it over, you can fold it to meet in the middle and then fold it again, and you technically have a book. Okay, so it was just a matter of numbering closing it and then numbering the page 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you open it, you'll know like what square everything goes on. So I thought these would be cool to put in your journal, because not only is it cute art, and maybe it could represent something you're feeling, but you can use it as a secret journaling spot. You could collage in this and then just, you know, add more stuff on it. Add pictures, photographs, you know, that's just like another way to do like the secret tuck spot thing or the secret journaling thing. Yeah, I just wrote my feelings about art and just trying to pinpoint my style and goals. It says, I have been trying to pinpoint what my interests are in terms of collage sheets, book illustration, journaling, etc. I'm looking for mystery, interactiveness, wonder, curiosity. Then I just talk about this cool YouTuber that I found that's really conscientious of, you know, corporations and like social issues. So I really liked her, and she validated my whole idea about Instagram. And she was talking about how it makes us it's called an overconsumption of art, was what she was saying, to where you're looking at art like, you know, 2 or 3 images a second. And even if you see something you like as you're scrolling, you only spend a few seconds on it and then it's gone forever. And it's overwhelming. There's just too much to digest. And she suggested to get off Instagram and collect zines from artists. That way you're spending more time with the artist and connecting more to the art, and you then internalize it into your life, like into your own art or into your likes and interests. You know, instead of seeing all this vast random stuff, you know, all together. And she says that they're more of a permanent object than a picture that is posted on Instagram for 24 hours and then it's buried and gone. I really liked that. And I looked back at my Instagram posts, and I've only posted 30 posts since February 2nd. And I'm happy about it. Because when I stay on Instagram and scroll, I lose time, it's addicting, and then I feel horrible after it's done because I do compare myself to other people's art. And what I have been doing is like, oh, I could adapt that. Oh, I could do that. I could, you know, oh, this style's cool. Oh, I really love it. And it becomes your own art style becomes buried, and then you just become an amalgamation of all the other stuff you're seeing. You don't spend enough time like with yourself, you know what I mean? So that could be applied to like our arts and crafts, or like decorating our homes and stuff like that. So definitely give that a thought. Anyway, I talked about the zine idea of the journal, like you treating this journal as like it is a zine. It's very DIY. It's kind of messy. It's using a lot of junk, and it's not like filtered or edited. Like a book would be edited by an editor, and it would have to appeal to the masses. Whereas a zine is like very niche, and it's the true art of that artist or author, and they don't have to worry about like it being accepted by like a publishing company. They can just do it themselves, you know. So I know it's like a junky journal, but I don't know, I just really think it's like inspired by zines. So on this page I created a spread, just topics, like different topics you think of, you can put them on a spread. And this I wrote stuff that captivated me as a kid. And as I thought about things, I wrote it down. Things that like made me feel that mysterious feeling when I was a kid. So for some reason, Nestle Quick tins were very memorable to me. I have no idea why. I did try to draw it, but I messed up the perspective and stuff. But just the tin and having the round circle at the top, I just thought that was the neatest thing, because I never saw anything else like that, you know. So I always thought it was very special. It's similar to like a pepper shaker, but it was much larger. You guys will have to look it up if you don't remember. And then I also remembered, and I've always had this memory in kindergarten of a kid having a Pee Wee Herman watch. And when he lifted it up, it wasn't only showing him the time, but there was another tab underneath that where you could open it. And I remember just being so mesmerized, like what is in that hole, because it was so small. Like I just had no idea what it was for. And the kid said, it's for me to call people and talk to them through the box, you know? And I don't know if he got that from actually Pee Wee Herman's show where he talked through a can, you know, like in the booth. But I had told my husband about this story, and it's just one of those like magical stories that were encoded and has stayed in my long-term memory just because it was so magical to me. And I decided finally to look for it and to see if what I, you know, was talking about was actually true. And I found a couple pictures. I think this came from eBay, I think. So let me try to focus this. But yeah, lo and behold, that little question mark is a, quote, secret hiding place, which it says on the package. From what I remember, I don't know what you could fit in there. I have no idea. But I always thought that that was just such a magical and weird and just surreal thing. And it's very reminiscent of the show. And I think that's why I liked the show so much. Because there's just so much magic in that. You know, like the floor was actually like personified, you know, and just all these like hidden things and worlds like within the house. It was just really interesting. So I also put the phone that came with a board game called Girl Talk. I don't remember how old I was. I don't even remember if you guys remember it, but it was this purple phone, had numbers on it, and you could actually press it to call like a number, I think, and then there would be all these different boy voices like saying stuff on the phone. And this was before I became like, oh, I'm going to talk on the phone to boys and stuff in high school. This was way before that. So I just thought it was magical, you know. I didn't have access to a phone, so I thought that was really cool. I also love fake food. That's another thing that I've just been crazy about since being a kid, like fake brands. Because I don't see them in real life, it like begs so many questions. Like, where's this from? Who made it? Who uses this brand? It's like an imaginary, it creates an imaginary world for me. And I just like, I love it. So I put Pocket Journal Pam stuff in here like after the fact, after journaling, but the marks with the marker is the base, and then the writing and possibly pictures, if I have them, is what comes next. And, you know, then I'll put in like tabs. So that would be like things that inspire me, random pictures, and then the art from my friends. On this page, it just got crazy. We got a free magazine in the mail, and I really loved the pictures that had to do, like, had these handmade watercolors in them. And who knows if this will ever lead to anything, but I liked it. And I had taken a picture of a house in our neighborhood. It's a really old, kind of shacky house that's been there forever. And I took a picture of it because I thought it would be a cool shape for a house, because I really like house illustrations and like making them into people. So I actually added the face just to remind me that that's what, you know, it could become. And yeah, just, I don't know what I wrote. Oh, I wrote about getting the magazine and how inspiring these things were. Might not even use it in the future, but it's fun to see the multicolored things. And maybe you could come up with an idea to make a grid with like different colored circles in it. Like, isn't that Kandinsky who kind of did something like that? Yeah, and then the last thing was like tabbing in a Pocket Journal Pam image, which I love. And it made sense to go with the watercolors, the message that's on there. Yeah, so I wrote about more about going to the dentist here and just the agony of the pricing and the anxiety. And this is from Pocket Journal Pam as well, her little character. And because he looked kind of sad, I just wrote how I felt on his raincoat. And here was another comic book that I made. I think, is this the one that's out of order? Oh, no. It's not out of order. This was a corrected one, but I forgot to put like my name on it to make it look kind of like a book. But yeah, this was having to do with going to the dentist. This inspired me. So this is like the injury that happened to the tooth. and the tooth was scared and nervous and sweating. But the tooth went through the procedure, got checked by the dentist, and this represents the injury. And he's happy now. He says, now you can be proud, and he has his floss and his ice cream. The first thing he did was eat some ice cream after his dental appointment. Yeah, and that's the back page. So I thought that was cute. Oh, I wrote, just say no to morning appointments, because I was very strict about trying to handle my anxiety, and my anxiety comes from when I have to show up early in the morning. I will not be able to sleep the night before. Okay, and I just did a tab of more Pocket Journal Pam stuff, and actually had like some memory keeping here with going to the beach, and I have some stories to go with it, some funny stuff that the girls did, and then I got an image of my dog like in mid shake, and it was really cute. And I also used some old photos that I haven't gotten a chance to journal on, and I wrote on my desk. So this is also another idea to put in this kind of journal, especially if you don't care about how this looks. If you don't care how this looks, it's going to turn out looking good, trust me. But yeah, you can try to get little scraps and pieces here and there to stick in the book. That's really fun, and it's really satisfying because it's like quick. I use different like techniques. This is like a little card from February and June scrap, and I stapled a picture to it, and then I taped the tab in so I could still write stuff under it if I wanted to. I actually did write something down here. Just said that they have grown so much and they look like legit teenagers. And April 1st, that was probably a day I was working on Patreon printables, and so my husband took the kids to a grand opening of an animal hospital. It's an event I found out about, but he took them to Burger King before they went, and they had these awesome art crowns. I thought these were so cool, and I know this was created by a real artist, so I put that in there. It looks very like pop art. And in the second page there was more of the crown left, so I made it interactive, so that, well, this one is glued down I think because of this, but this is a pocket over here. But first this is like the sizing things for the Burger King crown, and I thought, oh, it would be so cool, you could actually stick something in these little things. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do it now, but you did see it, right? How it was. But I just put a Pocket Journal Pam bird through here. Or no, Susie's Tiny Desk. And over here, I just, you know, fit in a calendar from Pocket Journal Pam, because the black kind of helped with the contrast there. And these are just pictures from the actual event that my husband took. My son got to go to the lab and look through microscopes. They had a tour of the hospital. They had games. There was food trucks. They had a petting zoo there. They pet donkeys and goats and stuff. So this is all the ephemera from that. That really bothers me. I really want to stick this in here. But I don't know how I did it to begin with. Oh, this part is not glued. Okay, so I'm going in from the back. Okay. Oh, okay, there we go. So that's your tutorial in case you want to do the same thing with the crown. Don't glue this part, okay? And then kind of slip it in. And we're almost getting to the end. So this was the background I started out with, drew some pictures, and glued some collage paper. Like, even if you don't want to write anything, you can always glue down collage paper to start off with. And the other thing, instead of using a lot of stickers, I just stuck to office circle things. And I got some from Walmart and some from a place called Pop Shelf, which had a different color way than these did. And this was a piece of envelope that I ripped, and it preserved this little tuck, so I thought that was cute. Little tuck spot there. And yeah, just writing about different artists. And this is a Susie Tiny Desk image, and so I created it into a tab. And yeah, that's her too. Just writing ideas down. And let's see, so more ideas. I'm thinking about a story that I could write. I'm thinking about a character. Then talked about the postcard art for the month of March, that I got it in, and I put another one of my pieces of art on there, another snail, and this is Susie Tiny Desk because the purple matched all this stuff. So it was like a blue, purple, and green theme. That's another way you can experiment with color palettes too. And so I wrote about this postcard for Patreon, but I also put on a picture, used this as like a backing to put on a picture I took at Walmart. This was in a parking space, and it's a TV. Somebody dumped a TV there, and I just did like a funny filter on it. Ugh, I just realized that I wasn't filming during this whole process of swatching Tara's watercolors. But needless to say, they are very beautiful, and I just love these. She's got very beautiful, like this one at first came out really subtle, but now it has like this beautiful shimmer, and it has like, you can see the blue and green in it. I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but she's also got a gold shimmer, which is another favorite. And I really like this red. It's really interesting to me because it looks like it's got red and maybe some of this like fluorescent orange in it. It's a really interesting color. I love it. And then I love this magenta, how saturated it is. And this orange is just like, whoa, super bright. But all of these would be perfect in like a Hobonichi type journal if you wanted to like write over it. I think my absolute favorite is this one, because I know this must be a natural pigment, because as it dries, it looks like a rock, like how a rock would look. And that's what the pigments are made out of. They're made out of rocks, you know. So this is beautiful. This is such a beautiful texture. But yeah, she works hard on these, I know, because I used to make some. This came out kind of light, but it has really pretty glitter and adds just enough color on a white piece, but you know, not too much if you still want to see your writing and everything. This was so fun, and these little watercolors will last a little bit, you know. And yeah, I might use these to make collage papers. But yeah, this was so cool. I thank you so much, Tara, for sending these to me. And I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but I used them on just a piece of copy paper, but it's it's cover copy by Hammermill, and it still is really nice, really pretty. Yeah, and she also sent me this cute cat, which my daughters are trying to fight me over, but I'm like, no, I deserve cute stuff too. And I say, you can't have this, but would you like a boop on the nose? And they say, yes. So I take the cat and I boop them like that. And they love it. They giggle. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing good and that you liked the video. Please keep in touch. Oh, that little blush pink. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks so good with this next to that. Ugh, I love it. This is so fun. But anyway, would love to have you at the on the Patreon. Got lots of art for you. I have a whole year's worth of stuff you can use in your journals, or you can use for Happy Mail, decorating envelopes. You can frame stuff. You could Mod Podge stuff onto these little wood things you get from Dollar Tree. I don't care what you do with it. Just don't like resell it, you know. But you can use it in journals that you sell if you make journals. So anyway, love you guys, and hope you guys are you're healthy and you're doing well, and that you're getting time to do what you love. Until next time, guys, bye.